Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're checking out a super sleek tab interface that looks modern and professional. Right in the center, we've got these pill-shaped tabs with subtle shadows that make them pop against a dark background. The really cool part is the glider animation. It slides smoothly under the selected tab, giving a clean, interactive feel. Each tab has crisp typography, rounded edges, and even a tiny notification bubble that changes color when active. Everything feels responsive too. Shrink your screen and the tabs scale perfectly, keeping the glider and spacing intact. The color theme, smooth transitions, and small interactive details make this component feel polished and alive. So, that's the final look. Compact, modern, and functional. Let's dive in and build this step by step, so you can get your hands on all these effects and animations yourself. But before that, please consider liking this video to motivate me, and also subscribe to the channel for the new cool tutorial videos. Let's dive in. So let's start by looking at the structure of our document. We'll have a body, and inside it there is a container div. This container holds another div called tabs, which will include all of our tab elements. Inside the tabs div, we have three input elements of type radio. The first input has an ID of radio1, and it is checked by default, meaning it will be the active tab when the page loads. The second input has an ID of radio2, and the third input has an ID of radio3. These radio inputs are linked together by the same name attribute so that only one tab can be selected at a time. Next, we have labels for each radio input. The first label corresponds to radio 1, and it has the text hello. Inside this label, there is a span with a class of notification that shows the number 2. The second label corresponds to radio 2 and has the text UI. The third label corresponds to radio 3 and has the text world. Finally, there is a span with a class of glider. This element will move underneath the active tab to show which one is currently selected. This completes the HTML structure of our tab interface. Now let's move on to styling our page with CSS. First, we target the body element. We set the height to 100 VH so it takes up the full viewport height. Then we use display flex, justify content center, and align item center to center everything horizontally and vertically. The font family is set to Inter and the background color is a very dark shade, 0E0E0E. Next, we style the tabs container. We set display flex and position relative because we will use absolute positioning inside it. The background color is white, and we add a box shadow with two layers. The first is 001px0 RGBA 24 94 224 2.15, and the second is 06px 12px0 RG4 94 224.15. Padding is 0.75 rem, and border radius is 99 px to make it fully rounded. We then target all elements inside tabs and set z-index to 2 so they stay above other elements like the glider. The container input elements of type radio are hidden using display none. For the tab labels, we set display flex, align item center, justify content center. The height is 30 px and width is 50 px. Font size is 0.8 rem, color is black, font weight is 500, border radius is 99 px, and cursor is pointer. We also add a transition on color for 0.15's ease in to make the color change smooth. The notification span inside the tabs is styled with display flex, align item center, justify content center. Width and height are 0.8 rem. We position it absolute, top 10 px, left 30%. Font size is 10 px, margin left 0.75 rem, border radius 50%, and background color is E6EEF9. Transition is 0.15 sex ease in for smooth color changes. This covers the basic styling and layout of our tabs and notifications so far. Now we will style how the tabs look when they are selected. For the container input of type radio that is checked and immediately followed by a label, we change the color to 185 EEE0, so the text of the active tab turns blue. If the checked inputs label contains a notification span, we also change its background color to 185 EE0 and the text color to white. Margin is set to 0 pixels so the notification stays perfectly positioned. Next, we define the position of the glider based on which radio input is checked. If radio 1 is checked, we apply transform translate x0 so the glider stays under the first tab. If radio 2 is checked, transform translate x 100% moves it under the second tab. For radio 3 checked, transform translate x 200% moves it under the third tab. We also style the glider itself. It is positioned absolute, display flex, height 30 pixels, width 50 pixels, and background color E6EEF9. Its z-index is 1, so it stays behind the tabs. Border radius is 99 pixels to make it rounded, and transition is do-fi's ease out for smooth sliding movement. Finally, we add a media query for screens with a max width of 700 pixels. Inside it, we scale the tabs container down by transform scale 0.6 so it fits smaller screens nicely. With this setup, the tabs component is fully flexible. The inputs are hidden, the labels act as clickable tabs, the notification badges update color and background dynamically, and the glider slides smoothly to indicate the active tab. The transitions, flex layouts, and absolute positioning work together to create a visually appealing and responsive interface. This concludes the complete CSS explanation for the tab component and how every property contributes to its interactive design. And that's it for today's video. If you liked the video, please consider liking it and subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. See you in the next one. Have a sweet day.